Hi, welcome to my kitchen at Siena. Fresh egg pasta is what we're on today. Fantastic blackacre free range eggs, flour, salt, a little bit of olive oil, simple as. So one egg cracked into the bowl, that's a whole egg, and what I'm doing is weighing this. So a whole egg weighs roughly 60 grams, and then we're going to add enough yolks to make up to 115 grams. And this really is a recipe where the quality of the eggs makes a huge difference. Lovely yellow yolks, really bright, vibrant colour there. And I'm just going to weigh these in until we've got 115 grams of yolks. Add 5 grams of olive oil and we're ready to go. You can make the pasta by hand, just by putting the flour in a well and adding the eggs to the well and bringing it together with your fingers and kneading it, but we're going to use a food processor. So I'm just adding that last yolk now, and I'm a little bit over on my weight, so I'm just going to take a tiny bit out just to adjust that. I'm going to add my olive oil to bring that up to the 120 gram mark. There we go. 200 grams of pasta flour, 7 grams of salt. Turn the machine on, give the eggs a little beat just to mix the white and the yolks together, and then I'm going to drizzle that in and then just stop the machine. And the important thing is to scrape out as much of the egg out of the bowl as possible. Just a couple of grams extra yolk in there will make a difference to the texture of the pasta. So I'm going to scrape every last bit of that out. There we go. And then I'm just going to put that back on to run. And I'm looking for a breadcrumb texture on this. So I'm just going to let that process for a moment. And yeah, that's pretty much there actually. So what we're going to do is take that out onto the board and just knead that together into a finished dough. Then what you want to do is wrap the dough in cling film, pop it in the fridge, let it rest for half an hour. The resting allows the gluten in the flour to relax, and the dough will actually come up slightly softer than it feels when you actually first make it. So I'm just going to scrape that all out onto the board now. Just making sure we've got every last bit there. There we go. Just bring that together into a homogeneous dough. You don't need to knead it very much. You've done most of the work in the machine. Just bringing that together nicely now. And as I say, at that stage what you want to do is just wrap that up in cling film, pop that in the fridge to rest, and you'll end up with a cylinder of dough like that. We're going to roll that through our pasta rollers, take it down to the desired thickness. It varies a little bit from pasta machine to pasta machine. On the one we use, we take it down to number 5 for tagliatelli. And I think the secret when you're rolling the pasta is to fold it in half, turn it through 90 degrees, put it through the machine, and then keep repeating that until the dough's nice and silky. And when you've got that nice silky dough, you're ready to bring that out and cut it into your tagliatelli. So here's the tagliatelli that we've got. I've got some just coming up to the boil here, and what we need to do then for the dish that we're going to do with this is just drain that off. The pasta's been boiling for about a minute, wants to be nice and al dente still, and one of the most important things on a pasta dish almost is the water. The water's going to form part of the sauce that we're going to do for this. So I've left a little bit of the water in the bowl, and I've kept the remainder of the water. Pasta back into the pan, and we got some lovely fresh pesto. fresh basil pesto, and for each portion I'm just going to add 2 dessert spoonfuls of pesto. Ideally you want fresh pesto, so from the deli counter, from your local delicatessen. Stir that in. You can see the way that the green's going through that beautifully. Just put that back on to simmer for a minute. Ideally when you're making pasta you do want to cook the pasta in the sauce for a few seconds, just to get the actual flavour into the pasta. 1 spoonful of creme fraiche. Job done. Probably a little squeeze of lemon juice, touch of salt and pepper. And there we go. The pasta dough freezes very well, so if you've got an excess of eggs, it's a good way of using up your eggs. We're just going to give that a little taste. Smells amazing. Little bit of salt in that still, so we're just going to add a little bit of salt, grind of fresh black pepper, and I'm just going to let that sauce reduce very slightly, and we're done. So just make a little bit of space here. Final stir. Dress that with a little bit of the sauce, and we'll finish with a drizzle of olive oil. We'll clean up there. Fresh egg tagliatelli, basil pesto, a little bit of creme fraiche.